And we're live with my old friend Bette Sussman. Not that you're old, we're old friends. We've known each other a long time.
Well, yeah, which means we're old friends.
And we're both Scorpios. I don't know your year. I'm going to be the big 7-0 this year, which is shocking to
And when's
me.
your birthday?
October 29th, and you're the 24th, right?
Right.
Okay. So, yeah. So it's that time of the year. It's coming. In fact, we're going to go to Nashville and New Orleans for my birthday, and we're going to see McCartney on my birthday, which is kind of thrilling.
Oh, wow. Cool. In Nashville.
In New Orleans. He's going to be in Nashville a few days later. So Snuffy's friends with Brian Ray, and so we're going to
Brian
do
Ray.
that whole thing. Do you know Brian? You
I
must know
do know
him.
Brian. I met Brian through when I was working with Robbie Dupree and Peter. Robbie is good friends with Brian. They're good friends. So we met when I went out there to do some gigs with him, with Robbie.
I think when Snuffy was the MD for Laura Branigan, he brought Brian in. That's the band they played
Do you know Peter
together.
Veneta?
I do not.
Okay. Snuffy may know him because
I'm sure.
he's a producer, but he also was a drummer in Robbie's original band. And so we got the drum Peter, who was the drummer, and Rick Tudikoff, who's the bass player who lives in Nashville. And we put this new band together and we played some gigs for a while, a couple in LA and up in wine country a little bit, but
I've never been to
right.
Nashville nor New Orleans, so this is like all new to me. So we have a lot of people
Wow.
down in Nashville, so I'm looking forward to seeing some old friends. But yeah, so it's a virgin trip. So if you have, I know I gave you some ideas when I think it was when you were going to Paris. I sent you some restaurants. Was that
And
it?
that was Italy. That was when
Oh,
I was
was
going to Italy. When I went to Puglia first.
okay.
Or I went to
I have
Puglia.
not been to Puglia. And then where'd you
Oh my
go?
God, it was amazing.
Was it?
It was the most adventurous. It was first of all, it was an adventure. I went by myself, rented a car, drove
Wait,
all
now
over.
Puglia is all the way down south, right?
Yeah, it's the heel of the boot.
It's the heel of the. Is it in Sis? No,
Opposite side.
opposite side.
Opposite side.
The heel of the boot. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I know nothing
it
about
was
it.
beautiful. I had never been there either, which is why I was inclined to want to go there. Also, my neighbors are from Cisternino, which is a town in Puglia also. So, and I took a cooking class in Lecce, and it's amazing things to see down there as far as history. Um,
I want to do the South more because I want to go to Sicily where I've never been. So where else did you go?
I went. Let's see. I flew to Rome. I took the train down to Lecce. And then after I had my cooking class in Lecce, the next day I rented a car and um, I went to what's it called? The White City.
The
Um,
White City.
yeah, I'll,
No,
I'll think of it. My
that's
brain
not
it
good.
doesn't work.
That's
I
okay.
went there. I went to Alberobello. I went to Cisternino to have dinner with my friend's parents, my neighbor's
Oh,
parents. Well, the irony was that when I first met them 3.5 years ago, I didn't speak any Italian,
I was going to say, did they speak English? You speak Italian?
not at all. But I've been going to school for for like 2 years, so I actually for the first time I got together with them, had dinner, and there was five. There was one. Let's see, one, two, three, four, five. There was six of us, and we spoke only Italian.
I am
Pretty much.
so impressed.
Pretty much. I mean, I was pretty impressed with myself too, because I worked really hard for this, to learn this language, and
Okay,
that's
so tell me how you did. Did you do Duolingo? What did you do?
well, I did Duolingo first, and then you reach a brick wall. You learn a lot of words at the Duolingo, but you
Hmm.
don't learn the grammar, which is the most important thing. It's like if you want to have a conversation, you need to know the grammar. And so
Hmm.
I started going to this, I found this school downtown called Scuola Italiano on Carmine and Bleecker. And
Where my favorite pizza place is.
shows, of
Of
course.
course.
But there's a lot of stuff on that block now, on Bleecker. There's like Mama's too, and then there's Industry, which is I still haven't gone there because
I
I won't.
haven't gone to industry. We were in New York last October for my birthday, for our birthday.
right.
actually. So yeah, Bleeker's pretty fat,
And then
and
we didn't have it, celebrate together, have a dessert or something.
we didn't, but we have to do that next time.
Yeah.
And Bleecker Street is where I know you from because that was the old Rock and Roll Cafe thing, and you guys were under Acme, but the Contis were playing for me also, and that's where I first met you, which was like the mid 80s.
Oh, also like the Bitter End and Kenny's Castaways.
Oh yeah.
Those were all there at the time. I mean, the Bitter End has had a complete and utter resurgence because
He would not let us in. Ken Gorka used to be a good friend of mine, and I know he's an important part of the beginning of your career, but I loved Ken. But we went down and I was trying to show Snuffy the Bitter End, and the guy at the door would not let, it was in the middle of the afternoon, he wouldn't let us in to just look at the room. He wouldn't let us in.
oh
And I
well.
thought things have really changed on Bleecker Street. But you just did a gig with another
Next
good,
time you drop my name, just say I'm a
I'll,
good friend of Bet's, and she said if somebody was here, I could just stick my head in and look. So
I
I
will do that. And
it's
also
like
you,
kind of my home away from home because so many clubs closed, as a result of the pandemic. But what Paul Rizzo did was like, yeah, because the 55 bar closed, that was a big jazz hang,
Mhm.
and a number of other rooms. And what Paul Rizzo, who is the current owner of the Bitter End,
I don't know him.
he started bringing like Mike Stern. He started bringing jazzers, people held over from 55 bar into the Bitter End. So now the Bitter End is no longer like a just a local bands,
Right.
trying to find their way. It's like he has named people. I saw oh, I've seen a number of people there. I just did a
Well, I
gig with
just saw you just did a gig with Teresa James,
Teresa
who
and
I
and Steve
and
and
Steve, and
T-Bar.
yeah,
Yeah, it was
and
super fun.
Pivar. Yeah. I'm
It
so
was
sorry I
super fun.
wasn't there for that. That
Right,
looked amazing.
I have to just grab water. I'm
Go,
sorry.
go, go grab water. Don't be sorry.
Right behind. I'm right
While
behind.
you're doing that, I'll make sure that I say hello to everybody out here in the Facebook land. I haven't gone to look to see who's hanging out with us yet. So, hello, Richard Shaw and Maria and Pia and Tony. Hi, everybody. Um, I can't go over there right now, or you'll hear the double feed. So I have to wait till Bet comes back and starts talking so I can go over there and watch you guys. Um, so that Troubadour gig must have been amazing.
Interestingly named because really there was no troubadours up there. There wasn't one original folk song sung that night.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. I think some
Um,
people I think there were some people that might have been a little bit offended that wanted to that wanted to be there, thinking that it was like a singer-songwriter thing.
I
It
see.
was like, no, that's not what it was at all. These were like, there was every guitar player in New York. At one point, there were like, let's see, there was me, Robbie Condor, Paul Schaefer, um, and then who else came? Ezrin. Andy Ezrin was there. Clifford Carter was there. But then there was every guitar player. It was like every keyboard player, every guitar player. There was just like it was like if this place catches on fire or there's a bomb in this place, the music business, whatever is left of it, is very seriously going to suffer because
Wow.
everybody was there that night. It was crazy. It was a crazy night. It's fun.
And so what kind of stuff were you guys playing?
Well, we did like Pivar did a couple of tunes by himself. Like he did a Steely Dan tune, and he did another tune. I forget what it was. So the Steely Dan tune, Teresa and I sang backups for him. Um, Steve did a couple of
Did
tunes.
anybody record it? Do you know?
I don't know. I don't even
Mm,
know.
I want to be a fly
I
on
did
that
a
one.
couple of songs. I did well, I was scheduled to do two songs, but I had a iPad failure. So I did one of my songs without iPad and lyrics and stuff. So and which was not bad, except I screwed up like the first line, but after that I caught up. But I did the Rascals. I did How Can I Be Sure?
Oh,
Who does that song ever? Nobody. Love
I
that
that
song.
song on the juke. I used to play that song on the jukebox
Such a
every
great
day.
song.
Great
Such a great
song.
song. And then I was going to do When I Need You, the Leo Sayer song. But Mike Biseglia, the bass player, found this cool arrangement that Joe Sample did with Randy Crawford. It was more of a kind of a gospel-y, very understated
Mm.
song, very understated. I didn't end up doing it because I didn't feel comfortable enough to do it without, reading something, chords or lyrics or something. So, but that was beautiful. Let's see, what they did, like they did a couple of Crosby, Stills, Nash songs. Conti did
Right. Well, Steve Postell and Jeff Pevo are touring with Teresa are touring with
right
the
with that
Outhouse thing.
powerhouse thing.
Yeah.
Right, right, right. Steve Conti did a couple of songs,
Mm.
of course. John Conti played on a couple of things.
I
Uh,
just saw John for the first time in 35 years. He did my show a couple
no
months
kidding.
ago, and it was so fabulous. I hadn't seen him in I mean, Steve and John used to play the Rock and Roll Cafe for me literally every week for all those years, and every club I
I'm
ever
trying to
did.
remember what the Rock and Roll Cafe was.
It was the old other end. It was two doors down from the bitter end. You used to go downstairs a couple stairs, and it
Oh,
was pink
what
with the pink
Preachers?
Cadillac.
I don't remember that, but it became Preachers in the 80s.
No, no, Preachers is the other direction. It's the other way, going towards Sullivan.
So,
Going towards the other way, going towards McDougal, but two doors down. And upstairs was a jazz
like,
club.
it was it was a blues club, Terra Blues
Terra
upstairs.
Blues, right, right,
Terra
right.
Blues, and then they have the Lion's Den there.
That was further down, Lion's
I
Den.
thought that the other end was just what they just changed the name of the bitter end
It was
to
the
the
other
other
end. I
end.
saw Carly Simon at the other end years ago, but was the Rock and Roll Cafe for about 10 years, and it's like Wicked Willie's or some weird thing now, or
Oh,
some,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So, but anyway,
Yeah. So
those,
what were you doing there? You were hosting,
so I booked
right?
it
Oh,
for,
you booked it.
5 years, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we on that little stage, just monsters and maniacs, used to come down and jam. It was fabulous. Those were the days.
Yeah.
And
That's the one.
so,
That's one thing about New York, I think, is that it's we're all a little crusty, so it's
mhm,
like the idea of like nobody's above going into any of those clubs. And maybe at one time some were above going, playing in those venues, but now I think as a result of the music business just, collapsing and I think and everybody just wanting to play, you know,
mhm.
you can find Oz Noy any night of the week playing guitar somewhere in downtown.
Which is crazy. But about 10 years ago, he wouldn't have been doing that so much, I don't think, or 15 years ago.
He kind of always did it.
Did he?
Oz kind of he was one of those that always kind of did it.
Mm,
But now it's become like it's an event place and people go there a lot. You buy tickets in advance, you can reserve
right.
seats, so it's a little bit more civilized and
Is the
more
table set up the same? Is the table set up all different?
yeah,
Same.
pretty much the same.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it's the same.
It's a tiny little club, but it's got so much history. Yeah. And you played there recently. You played there with someone else I saw on your page. I can't remember with who. But speaking of current events, I was telling you before we went live that I just happened upon the documentary, the Chaka Khan documentary today, which just went live, which you haven't even seen yet, which is wonderful. But it focuses, so tell us what the thrust of the documentary is.
After the documentary, this really cool guy Malik, um, who swears he's from North Carolina, but he sounds like he's completely from Africa. He's like black, dark, really
Mm.
black, and he has this. He speaks very low, and he sounds like he's got an accent, but he says he's from North Carolina. Okay, Malik, and the name Malik also his name. Okay, anyway, so the thrust of it was following the background singers of Shaka because the background singers of Shaka, Shaka records are just and her live performance is just really integral to her songs. You know, they're as famous as some of the lead vocals are, the background vocals. So
Absolutely.
that's what he wanted to do. So he got, I mean, Shaka's had a lot of different vocalists through the years, but she focused on this group, which was um, Karen Karen Bernard, Audrey Wheeler, um, Sandra St. Victor, who I didn't even know was one of Shaka's singers, because I've been a fan of Sandra St. Victor since Family Stand. That do you ever you know that? Are you familiar with that?
Uh-uh.
Oh my God.
No,
You've got to find later on, find the Family Stand.
I'm writing it
I think the
down.
record's called The Moon and Scorpio. And
Ah, that's perfect.
it's an absolutely brilliant record. And she's an
Uh-huh.
incredible singer. So it was her. And then there was another kind
When were these women with Shaka? Different times or together?
of, I think they were there. They might have been there together. They might have been, I think that I think they might, each one might have a little bit more time. Like I said, she switched out vocals, and some people were on the road with this one or that one. So, I don't know if they were always, I don't think they were,
I'm
because,
wondering if they were there when Snuffy was with her in the 80s. Were any of them go back that far?
sure,
Uh-huh.
I would think so. But then again, yeah, I have to think that they're, close to our age. I, I think, I think.
Well, I'll run it by him later. He'll tell me if they were there.
Anyway,
Um,
it was a really fun project. It was a fun project with Melvin Davis, who's Shaka's music director and bass player, Ralph Roll, a great drummer, Felicia Collins, my
who I
girl,
know from Late Show, yeah.
yeah, and yeah, and me. It was just a small band, four singers, and it was
No, it was
killing.
lovely. It was wonderful.
Yeah, it was really fun.
It was well done. And it just made its debut on YouTube. I'll put the link in the liner notes later so people can find it. So you
And
can find it.
doing another one with him, um, with Malik. He called me to music direct an event, another one of these films that he's doing, in November with Dietra Hicks.
Don't know.
She's a singer, and
Hmm.
she's got sisters, and they're like a gospel group. So it's like two pop songs and a couple of gospel songs. So
So and this is perfect that we're starting here, Beth, because we'll talk about your history and stuff because there are people that are here that weren't here the last time we spoke. But I want to talk about what's been going on since I saw you last, which the last time we chatted, it was literally the beginning of the pandemic. We were, I think, 5 months in. And at the time was like, if I have to spend one more day in the house, and who knew it was going to be years that we were going to do that. But has my life has not gone back to normal. I'm still doing my shows on Zoom. Is
well,
life?
I mean, that was a real turning point for me, because I mean, I live in Manhattan for 50 years.
Hmm.
Um, but I had so much time during the pandemic to think about what I needed personally and not professionally, because there was fuck all going on professionally. There wasn't anything
Right.
happening. So, I started thinking about what I really need, because when you're busy and you're touring, the first thing on your mind when you get home is not, oh, I've got to get out of here. It's like, oh, I'm home. So
Right.
I finally had time to think about like my options, and what I really wanted. I wanted outdoor space. I wanted more room. Um, and I wanted my own garage. And then so I started looking for an apartment during the pandemic, and I moved. I sold my apartment in Manhattan, that I had lived in for 33 years,
Unbelievable.
and bought a place here in Jersey City Heights. And I have three times the space. I have three bedrooms, three bathrooms, my
Fabulous.
own garage, which I share with my upstairs neighbors, but they're Italian, like real Italian, and they do everything on bike and scooter,
Wow.
no car, and they have two kids. So basically, I'm the only car in the garage, but they have
No,
more
they don't
vehicles
even
than
own
I.
a car?
No, they don't own a car.
Wow.
He's a chef downtown, like in Battery Park, and he takes his scooter. He takes
Wow.
his scooter to work every day, even in the
How
snow.
long a commute is it into Manhattan from there?
So fast. I mean, it
Wow.
depends which part I'm going to. Like, if I'm at the bitter end, say, and
Hmm.
I've driven down there. Coming home from the bitter end at night, it's 15 minutes,
Wow.
literally 15 minutes, because I'm really close to the Holland Tunnel there.
Right.
And I'm so close to the Holland. I'm really close to both tunnels.
Mm.
Really close to both the Holland and the Midtown, the Lincoln Tunnel.
Lincoln, yeah. Hmm.
So basically, like if I have to go to school, like when I go to school, it takes me, it can take me as little as 50 minutes door to door if I make all the right connections. Like I'll get on a bus, take the bus to Port Authority, hop on the A train, and I'm downtown, and it lets me off on 6th Avenue and 3rd Street, and which is, a block and a half from the school. So it's very convenient. It's not, I'm not, I drive in sometimes, but I try not to drive in all the time because it's a pain in the ass.
Hmm.
Particularly during the day, parking is a joke.
Hmm.
So, like today I was in town, I had a rehearsal for a gig that I have coming up soon. Got a couple of cool gigs coming up.
Well, you'll tell us what those
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's very close. It's a really I'm in Jersey City. It's like, you can on their roof you can see, you can see the city. It's very
S-
close. I'm like from like the west side, from the bitter end. I'm like 2.5 miles really from the bitter end.
Right, bird's eye view. Crazy.
Yeah.
So clearly no regrets. You're happy with your decision.
I don't like my neighbor. It was the last apartment that I saw.
Mm.
And I don't love the neighborhood itself. It's kind of like, they said if you're going to live in the Heights, you want to live east of Summit Avenue. And I saw all these apartments, and then the last apartment I saw was west of Summit Avenue, and that's the one that like had everything,
Mm.
you know. And so I don't love the neighborhood. It's culturally different, but it's fine. I mean, I've lived in the city, since I'm 19 years old.
Hmm.
So, I know about all the cultures. I've lived with all the cultures. I have no fear. I'm not afraid, and there's a lot of Indian people around here.
Where did you live in Manhattan?
I lived on 94th, Upper West Side, 94th in Columbus,
Hmm.
between Columbus and Amsterdam.
Pretty
A
fabulous.
block from the park. Oh, yeah, it was really a great neighborhood, which is another
Hmm.
reason why I just wasn't in a hurry to get out of there, because I had this beautiful one bedroom. It was just too small. It was just I
Mm.
grew out of it like a long time ago. It was lovely, and I just kept renovating it because I kept staying there. So I kept renovating. Um,
But you can't make it bigger.
that's what I realized. At one point, I finally said, "Okay, there's nothing." That's why I sat there and I looked around. I said, "These walls are going nowhere.
Yeah.
That my fire escape is not going to become a balcony or a backyard at any time." And my garage which was right around the corner on 95th Street, which was really convenient for me, particularly when I had my house. I had a house in East Hampton for 17 years. I bought a house out there, which was in 2017 destroyed. I was actually out on a little tour with Christine Ebersole, and I was out for about 3 weeks, and I didn't find out about it for 3.5 weeks. I got a call from a neighbor saying, "This is your neighbor." He said, "The water is gushing out of your shingles." I'm like, "Gushing out of my shingles?" It was
What,
gushing out. My house just was a fishbowl, basically. The
what
water,
happened?
well, pipe burst on the second floor. A hot water pipe burst, and all it just the whole house was a fishbowl. I mean, you open the basement door from the kitchen, and the water was up to the kitchen, the second floor. The only thing good about that whole experience was that I had an oil, my oil tank was like 7/8 full, and not a drop of oil spilled, because that
Wow.
could have been a real problem.
Wow.
That might have been a real problem, but
Wow.
it didn't. So it wasn't. And I ended up, rather than, rebuild, I mean, it had to be gutted. So, there was no way that I was going to, you know, build the same house again. I
Hmm.
wanted to make some changes, and it was just, everything became, prices were going up and up and up and up and up. And I just said, well, all right. So I had it for 17 years. I'll sell the property. I had you couldn't get a loan on it. So you had to like pay cash for it, because when there's no running water or electricity, you can't get a loan. You
Wow.
can't take out a loan. So I sold the land and then I sold the house. And I made
Wait,
out.
wait a minute. You sold the land and then you sold the
No, I
house?
sold the land. I mean, they
Yeah.
paid for the land and then they paid for
Hmm.
the house. They paid for the structure.
Right. And did you lose a lot of stuff I'm sure you did.
I
17 years
lost
you were
a
there.
lot of kitchen stuff. Like
Hmm.
I lost a lot of my really good, I had like really good pots, really good stove, Viking
Okay,
stove.
so okay, I'm really glad you brought that up because I'm buying pots right now. What kind of pots do you use? What
I
do you
use
love?
I love Made In pots. Made
Mhm.
In is a company that I love, and I love All Clad. I love All
Okay,
Clad.
I'm looking at All Clad. I'm looking at All Clad and Hex Clad. Do you know Hex Clad?
I've heard about that. Yeah,
Okay, I'm
but
looking at both of
Made In
those.
is a really,
I
really
don't
good.
know about Made In. I haven't
Made
seen
In
those.
is I think Made In is like the updated version of All Clad. Like I've had All Clad for years, like for
S-
many, many, many years.
So do they have non, are they stainless steel? Are they, what are they?
Well, there's some of them are stainless, and then
Yeah.
have
They
they have
have the non-stick versions,
a
the
ceramic, which I
oh, it's
bought.
ceramic. And
Yes,
ceramic doesn't chip? I'm worried about that.
no, it doesn't
No.
chip.
Okay.
Why would it chip?
I don't know. I'm rough with things. I'm rough with things. For anybody who doesn't know out there, Bet is a chef extraordinaire. And I
Ah,
love the fact that you've had two shows around your cooking, which I love. But I love the fact that you consider a meal to be a holy event when cooking for one, which I think, are you still doing that?
I'm not. I haven't been doing that yet, doing it again yet, but I have the ultimate space here now to
I
do
saw
it.
your kitchen is gorgeous.
Well, it's big. I have a big, big counter, the stove counter over there. I have amazing prep space. It's very, very wide, and and I have these lights, and they're high enough whereby it'd be really easy to shoot. I just have to find somebody to shoot it, you know. And I've been really, just been really bad about it,
Well,
bad.
forget the shooting. Are you still cooking for yourself? Are you still
Oh,
treating yourself to those meals?
oh yes. Oh,
Okay.
I take my meals very seriously.
Were you raised that way? Did your mother cook that way?
No, my mother cooked, but she was a Jewish cook. She cooked basically, Jew food.
Hmm.
That's what she was good at. She was like the
Hmm.
holidays, everybody came to our house, she would
Hmm.
make filter fish, pot roast, stuffed cabbage. She made those,
Right.
she didn't really, she didn't get into ethnic cooking at all.
And so how did this come to you? Where did you develop this?
I think because through my job, through working, touring, all the years of touring, I've been all over the world, and I really, I take advantage of that, and I go and I experience all the cultures and I experience the food, and if it's food that I love, I'm going to learn to cook it. Like, I've been in Thailand a few times, and the last time I was in Thailand on a job, like an industrial for Avon. And we were in Chiang Mai, but I figured because I was already over there, I said I'm going to I've always been curious about Phuket, so I took in like an 11 or 12-day holiday by myself down in Phuket. And the place that I stayed, it was this really cool resort with its own kind of private beach, and the manager of the place was Italian, and the manager was Italian, and so the restaurant cooked amazing Thai food, and then there was a pizza restaurant on the beach with legitimate pizza. It's like
Wow.
they did both, and they had great wine, and and that was an interesting trip. So there were a lot of things that I ate, and I mean, I love Thai food, so it's
And
probably my
do you cook Thai food?
cook a lot of Thai food.
Oh my God. Now that sounds very complicated to me, but I'm going to get some tips from you because Thailand, Japan is a possible trip also. We're thinking Greece, Sicily, or Thailand and Japan is the next trip, and I can't decide. I've been flip-flopping because they both sound wonderful.
Okay.
Um,
There's an alarm of some sort going.
uh-oh. Well, that's no good. Hi, everybody out there. Let me see. Pia, thank you. Um, hi, Phyllis. Uh,
Hi, Phyllis.
so what, okay, I have too many questions. So what people also might not know is that you plant and you cultivate your own food.
Since I moved here, yes, since I moved here, I have a decent sized backyard, for considering, where I am, these yards are not, they're not like a brownstone in Manhattan backyard. It's
Right.
actually like a decent sized backyard. It was square, all grass, and I cut out beds. I cut out a bed on the right side, I cut out a bed on the left side, and then I bought a couple of raised beds. And so,
So what are you growing? I saw your tomato looks amazing. What else
but
do
it
you
can,
have it there? Look at her tomato. Oh God. And does
mm,
it taste like a tomato? I bet it tastes like a
the
tomato.
sweetest thing you ever tasted in your life.
Oh my
These
God.
pineapple tomatoes.
Gorgeous.
And then there's these other kind too, these Paul Robesons. They're
Mm.
I only grew this year two different kinds of heirlooms. So I grow, let's see, I grow two different kinds of eggplant. I grow like globe eggplants and I Japanese eggplants.
Mm.
I grow tomatoes. I grew this year, I tried growing soybeans, thinking that and it was really fun to watch them grow, but I ended up doing nothing with them. But I ended up doing nothing with them because I couldn't really figure out what to do. They were like, the pod was like really furry. It was fun to watch them grow because it was like, oh my God, I have edamame now. They still were furry. And I'm like, furry? Why don't I get the fur? Anyway, so I did that and I had cucumbers, massive amounts of cucumbers. I started making pickles.
I was going to say what'd you do with them? Okay,
Well,
pickles
I
are
ate a lot of them, and then I gave a lot away, and I started making pickles. Like I have a bunch in the refrigerator that I have to pickle because I'm
and
sick.
so when you make pickles, what kind of do you make half sour? Do you make sour? Do you make what do you
I,
make?
I make their pickles. It's I use dill and
Hmm.
garlic and peppercorns and coriander seeds
So they're
and
nice and tasty.
and vinegar and water and sugar and salt.
Sounds fabulous.
Really good,
And
really fun. So that's that, and then I grow string beans, and then I grow chives. I grow jalapeno peppers. I grow bell peppers. I grow Thai chilies. Um, I grow zucchini, a rainbow chard, beets, lettuce, arugula, radishes, and like lots of herbs, a lot of Thai basil. Well, the Thai basil is fun. That's a funny thing because I planted one plant of Thai basil,
hmm,
but they have these beautiful purple flowers on the top, like regular basil. You know how regular basil will grow like a flower on it.
hmm.
You really have to cut that off because that'll stop the growth of your plant of your basil. But these things, they attract bees. So I have
So does lavender.
tons
We have a bee thing going on with lavender in the
tons of
back.
bees, and they're
Hmm.
they're lovely. They're my pets. And what they've done is they're pollinators. And so I have Thai basil growing in every pot with everything else because little things, the seeds get dropped and they're
That's
everywhere. It
hysterical.
really is hysterical. I planted four
We have
plants.
gophers now for the first time. This is freaking me out. Yeah, we got to deal with, yeah. We have a lot of critters. We're up in the hills. Yeah.
Oh, are you?
Oh yeah. It's freaky. Oh yeah. We have anti-coyote machines. We have mountain lions and tomcat. Oh, yeah, we got
Do
critters.
you see those in your yard?
Well,
Are you fenced
we've
in?
had coyotes. No, we're up on a hilltop. No, but we've had coyotes come on the property. But we literally have anti-coyote machines that lights and noise. And Rufus doesn't care about them, so it doesn't
How do
bother
they
him.
know that it's a coyote?
As soon as there's movement, they start doing their thing, and the coyotes don't like them. And I'm knocking on wood because as soon as I say that, I'm going to have a coyote in the morning, as sure as I'm sitting here. But there's a lot of coyotes in Sino, yeah. And there's deer. We've had a mountain lion. We've had what are those cats where the tail is cut off? Bobcat. We've had bobcats. I mean, yeah, it's pretty freaky. But so, all right, so tell us, what did you eat? Did you cook tonight?
No, I was going to. I was going to before, but then I got sort of like I was starving when I got home, and I made a few little snacks that actually my neighbor gave me. Um, and then I'm gonna make. I made some sauce the other day, so I'm gonna just make myself a bowl of pasta when we're done.
So, and how often the last time we spoke, you were cooking for yourself, like serious cooking for yourself 4 or 5 nights a week. Are you still doing that?
Yes.
I love that.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so I shouldn't eat well because I live alone.
I love it.
I don't have a man in my life. No.
So when you're making a meal, like the pesto that I took the recipe for, that's something you can put together really fast, right? You can
Yeah.
make your own pesto really quickly.
What's really
Um,
important with pesto is cleaning the basil, though, I find.
ah,
Cleaning basil is a really important step in basil and using basil. Like I pulled this I pulled these
I'm
off
having
of
an
the
allergy
rack,
thing
and I
here.
just keep them right here, but you have to, they're a little bit, they're a little bitter when you take them, when they come right out of the ground. So, I mean, I find that it's like they really need to be washed. And when you wash them, they're good. Kind of like my arugula sometimes, wild arugula. Uh-oh, bless you. You okay?
I'm having an allergy attack.
You have a silent sneeze. Okay, so I'll go on
I
speaking.
turned my sound off so I wouldn't be making noise.
Oh, I went, wow, look at you, sound.
I'm
Um,
having an allergy attack as we speak. Yeah.
Allergies are bad this year. I cough a lot.
I find the same thing is true with spinach. If spinach has to be so carefully washed because it's so easy for it not to be,
Yeah,
and then it's gritty.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I find it also helps the flavor of certain green foods like spinach and arugula. And I mean, it's different. The arugula that you buy in the store is different than the arugula that you grow. The
How
wild
so?
arugula that you grow is going to be stronger. It's going to be a little more of a bitter green. It's going to be a little stronger. But the more you want, if you wash it really well, wash it a few times, it really mellows it out a little bit.
I like the strength of arugula, but
Yeah, I do too. But I also grow like mixed greens, so I would, my salads are, they were amazing.
wow, I'm just in awe. So okay, so what did you cook? What did you cook yesterday? Did you make your sauce yesterday?
No, yesterday I didn't cook. Yesterday I had bought well, I did cook. I shouldn't say that. I made broccoli rabe, which was what I was eating before. I
Mhm.
made some sauteed broccoli rabe to go with. I had bought a rotisserie chicken for my cats, for one of my cats who's a very picky eater. So I supplement his food with some, chicken.
We do that with Rufus now too, so I get it.
And but I made coleslaw. Coleslaw, making coleslaw.
I have never had good homemade coleslaw. What?
Girl,
Okay, so I really like the Jewish style,
which
like from Katz's. Like that's my favorite coleslaw. I don't.
is it not mayonnaise?
I'm sure it's made with mayonnaise, but it's not. It doesn't have like a thick sauce. It's not thick. It's
The key
thin.
to it to me is celery salt, the celery seed, celery salt.
Okay.
It makes all the difference in the world. And I use mayonnaise with a little bit of sour cream and apple cider vinegar, little tiny bit of like a half a teaspoon of sugar. It's all you need to like just bring other flavors out. And yeah, it's delicious. I love it. So so I had bought her. So I also, when I buy a rotisserie chicken, thinking of them, I said I also bought it because I had made coleslaw, and so
Chicken and coleslaw. It's a great meal.
it's very Jewish,
Very
super super
Jewish.
Jew food.
Do you cook the Jew food? I cook the Jew food. I make latkes and all that kind of stuff.
Do you?
Mhm.
I don't usually make latkes. Well, you have a family, I'm sure they
Mhm.
come over for the holidays. What I have made, which I love even more, which I've made for my cousins, like for Passover, is potato kugel.
Oh. I have not had potato. People out there are going, what are they talking about? I have not had a potato kugel since my grandmother passed, I don't think. Wow.
Yeah.
I
And mine is not green or gray. It's actually maintains its color. Like I remember my mother's was always green or gray.
My grandmother's was green, but it was delicious.
Right.
But she called it a potato nick. It was potato nick.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah, potato nick. Hmm.
Who knew?
That was a Bronx thing, I think. That
Is
it was
that where you're
potato
from, the
nick.
Bronx?
I'm from the Bronx.
Well,
Where are you from?
Long Island.
What part of Long Island?
Nassau County, East Rockaway.
Uh-huh.
Kind of like in between Hewlett and Oceanside.
Yeah, sure.
I went to Limbrook High School. A
Oh
lot of people
gosh.
get that confused with Far Rockaway, which that's just not where I live. They're two different places.
Right.
Far Rockaway is Queens and it's by the beach, and East Rockaway is Long Island, and it's also not far from the water. It's near the water.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Okay, so you're doing your cooking, you're not doing your cooking show because you need somebody to I haven't had somebody shoot for me since the pandemic, so it just changed everything. So I started to ask you
Well, it's
that
interesting because you're sitting in one place.
right.
I need somebody to follow me from here to there, to the stove. I kind of need somebody. Have you ever seen that girl, Olivia Tiedemann?
Mm-mm.
She opens up her thing with a "fuck you morning, fuck you." Um, she's a great cook. Anyway, she's really fun.
Um, so I started to ask you, it sounds like life is back to normal. Is life back to normal for you?
Life is well back to normal. No, no. I mean, I had a, I mean, it's not back to normal at all. I mean, the work has not come back.
Hmm.
You know, um, so I'm not touring.
So what are you doing? What are you doing with yourself? Just
I'm doing gigs. I'm doing like gigs, local gigs. Some not so local, but drive away, and studying Italian, practicing
fantastic.
piano, practicing, singing, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just not. The only thing that's different is that I'm not touring and I'm not doing jingles, which is what I mean. The jingle thing stopped before. I'm going to say the jingle thing stopped before the pandemic.
Mm.
Definitely before that kind of fell off after that writer's strike back
Hmm.
back a long. What was that? That was like a while ago.
Hmm.
But like also like e- everything changed. Like I used to do a lot of industrials. I would music direct these events, write
Hmm.
music for them, like for these big companies like Avon, companies like that, and pharmaceutical companies. And that went from really good money every year
Hmm.
to zero. It literally
Oh,
went from
oh.
here to zero. It didn't slow down. It went from here to nothing.
That's
So,
crazy.
I mean, in one sense, I'm lucky that, I'm not a kid trying to make a career now. I made money and I had I mean, I've had a 50-year career. So,
Hmm.
I don't really mind not working that much. And I like doing what I want to do.
So what
You
does that look like? So how do you feel when you're not going to school and you're not gigging? Okay, so you go to school, you go to school for Italian,
study Italian. I
you
practice music. I write
hmm.
I write songs. I garden. I cook.
Okay, so how about socially? Because I've found that my social life is completely different than it was before the pandemic. I
I
used to go
it is.
out 5 nights a week. I barely ever.
Well, that's the one thing that I find that, that has really changed living where I live. I mean,
Hmm.
it's very easy to like I find myself staying home a lot more than I used to.
Me too.
But I also think that it was part of like being younger and cooler, you felt like, you had to be out, you had to go out and, you live in New York, going to restaurants, and you have to go out into clubs. No, I don't go out to like dance clubs, but going out to hear music all the time,
Right.
and or just even just getting out and just going to
Hmm.
the store in the corner. Like I don't really have, like I have like a right here. I have a pharmacy. I have a dry cleaners. I have a couple of little delis,
Hmm.
but that's it. A few blocks away, there's a little bit more up here,
Hmm.
but yeah, it's not a big. I'm not living in the restaurant part of the world. Um, there's one good restaurant up here, but I don't go out as much as I used to
Hmm.
because, I just don't. Nobody does.
Okay, so I have found that I am not as socially comfortable as I used to be because I used to be in the thick of it all the time. And
Right.
now I so rarely do that kind of thing that when I do, I'm not who I was out in the world anymore. I'm a
Well, we're
different
also
person out in
we're,
the
we're
world.
also we're also a little older now, It's like we're also a little bit older, and
Yeah.
that's we can't deny that. There's no denying
Hmm.
that. We're a little bit older, and our social life is different than it was. It's
Hmm.
very different than it was. You know, um, we did a lot more gigs. We hung out at the gigs. Hanging out at the bar afterwards, socializing with people, and
Hmm.
now basically that's once in a while, like there's an event, there's something happening up at the Sugar Bar, Ashford and Simpson bar, that club restaurant up on
I used to
76th
wait on
Street.
Ashford and Simpson at Maxwell's Plum a million years ago.
Really?
Oh, they were lovely.
And they're
They
one.
were so
Yeah.
lovely.
Yeah, they used to have a great room down in kind of in east of
Hmm.
Chelsea.
I remember.
Remember that place? It was
Hmm.
really nice. It was really nice, and the band played in the window, and it was a real supper club.
Hmm.
And there aren't many supper really good supper clubs.
Are there
Like,
any?
well, no, I mean, no, there really aren't because
Yeah.
there was a point when I got back from when I was in Vegas with Bette Midler back in I left there we finished in 2010, the end of 2010, and so we were there for a couple of years, and when I got back, I actually bought into a coffee company because I'm also really into coffee.
This
So I
sounds
bought it
familiar. Do I know this about you? Where was the coffee from?
all over.
Okay.
But we roasted in Newark, and it was really good. But unfortunately, the guy who I bought into, who was like a really dear friend of mine, turned out to be a scumbag.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that didn't work out. But then I wanted to, I've always been, I'm always interested in doing other things besides, I'm not the musician that is be all end all music all day, every day.
Hmm.
That is not, it was never who I was,
Hmm.
and it still is not who I am. I have other interests. I'm a tennis freak. I love tennis. There's things that I really love to do, that I love
Hmm.
to watch, and I love to do besides music, which is why, this twilight part of things in our business, is like, it's fine. I have a little more time. I have more time for myself.
Are you physically fit and healthy? I mean, I have a elbow, shoulder, fake hip. I mean, I got all kinds of things going on.
Well, I
Are
had
you,
two back surgeries. I had
oh,
one in 2005, and then I had one in 2022, 21.
oh,
I had a second one,
were they
15.
successful?
Yes, they were very successful,
What
except
was your
last one.
thing? Yeah.
This last one, the first one was a three-level surgery where I was fused from S1, L5, L5, L4, and
That's my area, my
then he put an
stenosis.
artificial disc in L3, L4. He was one of the few doctors at the time that was doing this. He was he's French, and
Hmm.
they don't have the FDA, so they've been doing these artificial disc replacements there since the 80s.
Wow.
So I found a pain management guy that I had been turned me on to Fabienne Batin, who was the head of spine surgery at Lenox Hill at the time. And I had great insurance at the time too. I had SAG insurance and
Hmm.
um, which was always better than my musicians union insurance. They never really took that very seriously. I basically, why would
Hmm.
I when I have SAG after the plan A?
SAG after insurance is the best.
It's the best. I mean,
Hmm.
but so my first surgery was covered. So now I went back for
Wait, I'm going to take that back. I'm sorry, but Medicare is the best. Medicare is pretty kick-ass until he destroys it, which will happen any day, I'm sure. But Medicare is pretty great. No?
Medicare. Medicare is great. Do you have an alternate plan as well?
Of
Like,
course, I have my
yeah.
supplemental. I don't pay for anything. Also, I'm knocking on wood, so they change that tomorrow because the idiot is there. But yeah, it's amazing.
Well, I'm going to have to change my insurance, my plan because I understand that United Healthcare they're no longer doing the AARP. Um, what do they call them?
Supplemental?
No, 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 no,
No.
no.
What?
It's Advantage Plan.
Oh. Hmm.
It's called the AARP Advantage Plan, and which was good, but they're doing away with it, I hear, next year. So I've got to figure that out.
So
Um,
did back surgery scare that the thought of that terrifies me. Back surgery.
Listen, all I can say is back surgery is not what it was, in the 1950s or the
Well,
1960s.
hmm.
Back surgeries I mean, there's some back surgeries where you go in and you're out the same day.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
I think it's crazy talk.
Yeah.
That's never happened to me. I've always spent a good few days in the hospital after my surgeries, but I mean, the second surgery, because so what happened with the second surgery is that the level above where the artificial disc was failed, L2. So, um, so instead of, he didn't take the artificial disc out, but he just bypassed it, put new caging in, and I'm caged from S1 to L2. And then I have 4.5-inch screws in my pelvis. So my issue is balance a little bit, and
Mhm.
I've fallen more, and I almost really messed up my hip. But my balance is not good now. My right
Mhm.
side is weaker than my left side. Like I have this like restless foot syndrome at night. Like last night was really bad.
Mhm.
Um, but other than that, I get sore. Like I worked out yesterday,
Mhm.
and we
But
worked
you're
out.
able to play tennis?
I don't play tennis anymore, really.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to. I could go and hit with a friend of mine, but I just don't.
Mhm.
I'm a little bit more afraid of tennis now
Mhm.
because the running and the falling. Since once you've had a series of falls, you don't want to like do anything to fall again,
Yeah, I
And
got that.
so unfortunately, I don't. But I work out and work out here on Zoom, and I have a treadmill, and so I'm able to. You know the the winters are cold. Winters are too cold. I'm not into walking out in the winters, and I don't, like I said, I don't love my neighborhood, so
Right.
it's not like a place that I feel like, oh, I can't wait to get out and take my walk today. It's like, no, I'd rather be on my treadmill and look at my garden, watch a tennis match on my iPad or something like that while I'm working out.
I
But
do it on an elliptical. I get you. I mean,
okay,
it's too hilly where we are to go out and walk in the.
walk.
Mhm. It's steep.
So you have an elliptical machine?
I have an elliptical and I have behind me, can you see that? It's a tonal. So it
Oh, okay, I
mimics
see it.
weights and
Yeah,
all of that stuff. Yeah.
oh, that's cool.
Well,
That's
except I was working out with a trainer and got so injured that I hurt my shoulder, my elbow, so now I haven't been able to do it for a few months, but
oh.
Got to be careful with that stuff. You know, at this age, it's like things just go. I'm telling you, I have a titanium hip, it's just, yeah,
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
happens.
It's
We're
that's what
that
happens.
age.
It's like, I mean, my spirit is young,
Absolutely.
but I just, I don't have the years to go along with that.
Hi, yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So before we go back, let's move forward. What gigs do you have coming up that people should know about?
Well, I'm doing this gig coming up at with this it's a Burt Bacharat gig.
Ah, that's what I saw. You did something at the bitter end, right? The Burt Bacharach
Yeah, but we
something?
haven't done it in a while. We haven't done it in a while since like probably since the winter,
Mm-hmm.
last winter. So yeah, so we're back. So we're back. A few more songs, and I'm playing. I play piano in it, and I'm singing one tune. I sing "Look
Which,
Above."
beautiful.
My
And who are you doing it with?
a million people.
A million?
There's a million people. It's a big band with horns and singers, lots of different singers singing leads, and there's a
Fabulous.
core background section, but then there's all these different people singing leads, and the music is quite fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Pretty fabulous.
pretty
And when
fabulous.
is that?
That is, see, I don't remember things. I just found out. Okay, that gig is the 16th of September.
Excellent. Well, that's really soon.
Next week. It's next
It's
Tuesday.
next week and
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. And what else? You said there's a
And then I
couple.
have another gig. I've been playing with this band called the Pine Cats.
I saw an ad for it on your Facebook. And what is that about?
That is John Putnam, who played in the Bev Leslies, and he part of that. He's part of that band for over 20 years, and he's a really good songwriter. And I think during the pandemic, he took singing lessons, and his singing has really improved. And and they were doing it as a trio, just like acoustic guitar,
Hmm.
electric bass, and Mike Viseglia on bass, and Denny McDermott on drums. And then they asked me if I would do a gig with them, and I did, and it was super fun. I sang, and basically at the bitter end we play, and I get to play B3 and Whirly. That's all I play is B3 and Whirly on that gig, and it's super fun. And John Putnam is just fantastic. He's just like so good. The band sounds so good. We have there's harmonies, and it's kind of more rootsy. Um, yeah, it's pretty cool music. So I like that. So
Fantastic.
a bit more different. I'm doing more different stuff than I used to do. You know.
Okay, so let's talk about what you used to do when you started. I know the answers to these questions, but I want you to tell them. So, like every other kid except me, you had piano lessons, yes? Your parents had you take piano lessons. And so, was it something you took an instant love to, or
Yes.
yes?
Yes, when I was like 4 years old, my sister had started taking piano lessons, and she would come home, and I would just sit down after her and play her pieces by ear. So
Wow.
I was good.
How
And I
at
was
how old?
4.5, 4 years old.
What?
So my
Wow.
grandfather, who lived with us, um, he used to take me on the train to Far Rockaway for lessons with Miss Spielter, this old German woman, and yeah, and so I took with her I only had 5 lessons, and then she died. I always thought
Mm.
that was my fault, but maybe I'm giving myself too much credit.
Just a little.
But and then I studied with, but she was the teacher that my mom studied with.
Wow.
Yeah, my mother.
Was your mother a talented pianist?
Well, she played. She never played professionally, but she
Hmm.
always loved playing. She was musical. My grandfather loved music.
Your
Um,
sister was is musical.
my sister's a piano player.
Yes. Okay. Hmm.
She's a piano player as well. She was a teacher. She was a music teacher,
Hmm.
and she retired. And she plays for like some like local shows,
Fun.
local theater companies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun for her. It keeps her
Mm-hmm.
playing, she gets to play, and keeps her complaining, which is always good. Complaining about the producer or the director or whatever, or whoever. And but she's very good at it, so she does that.
Something else that you've done as well is play for theater. The original Color Purple,
Yeah, I
Waitress.
haven't done a whole lot of theater, but
Hmm.
I think that it's quality, not quantity. You know?
Yes.
Like I played, I used
Were
to
you
do,
playing in Color Purple when Cynthia Erivo was in it?
no, I was
Okay.
playing when um, Fantasia went in it.
Ah,
Fantasia was in it. It was first, it was,
I saw it with Cynthia.
yeah, I saw it with Cynthia too. I went with Brenda, um, who's a dear friend of mine, Brenda Russell,
Hmm.
as who for those of you out there that don't know, she wrote along with the late great Allie Willis and Stephen Bray. They wrote the songs.
Yeah, Allie was my sweet friend. We were in Allie's seats, Samantha and I, when we saw it. It was spectacular. Cynthia got two standing ovations in one song, maybe three. She was crazy. The whole world's finding out about her now, but we've known about it for a long time. So okay, so you did The Color Purple. You did.
Before that, I did I used to do shows at the bitter end, at the bottom line,
Where did you
second
do
out
Godspell?
on tour.
And you
I
did that with
toured.
Tim Curry,
That was the
correct?
first. No, I didn't do
Oh, you
gospel.
didn't? Oh,
I
okay.
did not. I played with Tim Curry.
I
I
know
did a
that.
record with him. And I toured with him,
Mm-hmm.
but I did not do no Godspell. I did.
Okay.
I was pretty fresh out of college, actually. My a friend of mine from college was working for this guy who was a boxing promoter. My old friend, may he rest in peace, also Lou Falsino, who was a big closed circuit boxing promoter, and somebody owed him money for closed circuit, and so instead of paying him the money, they gave him this bus and truck tour of Godspell. So the music director was quitting. So, they had to bring me out there pretty quickly, and I learned the music, and I went in pretty fast, went on tour with
Was
them.
that fun for you?
As far as I remember, it was fun. Yeah. What I
Speaking
remember.
of which, you've never had addiction issues. I'm sober, and you drink wine. You're a normie, aren't you?
No, I used to smoke too much pot.
That was my thing too.
And I quit smoking for about a year and a half.
Hmm.
And when I don't know, there's been a lot of shit this year, and now that all the dispensaries open, I never wanted to say I'll never smoke again. I just needed to stop because I was coughing
Hmm.
too much. It was affecting my voice.
Hmm.
So every now and again, I would go to a dispensary and buy a joint.
Wow. I've never been, I'm sober a long time. I've never been in what I wouldn't give. Do you buy gummies? Oh
Well, I
my
do gummies. I do sleep. I have sleep gummies. Yes, I
Wow.
take sleep
Hmm.
gummies.
Hmm.
Yeah, but and now I'm kind of off the sauce, off the pot again.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that was I was a pretty habitual pot smoker for 50 years. You too?
Yeah, I gave it up 24 years ago, pot, but yeah, I loved it. It was my thing. But it
Yeah,
wasn't legal then, so
right.
yeah.
Now it's just too easy.
So easy. Oh my God. It's a good
Yeah.
thing. I'd probably be dead if it was legal when I was doing it. But yeah. But yeah, so okay, so you're normie-ish. You can
Well,
just
no,
stop when you
at
want
this
and
point, yes, I can. At this point,
mhm.
I'm normie. I mean, I used to smoke cigarettes too. I mean, gave that up. Gave that up a long time ago.
Me
That
too. Hmm.
there's absolutely no reason to do that. At least if you smoke a joint, like I remember the day that Trump was elected, and I had a long, long rehearsal, and I was with Sean Pelton, we were in the same rehearsal together, and we were both just miserable. And I remember coming in early because I had a chiropractor's appointment, who was a half a block from a dispensary on 13th and Broadway. And I said, "Oh, I could just go in there and just, get some weed, get a joint or something." But I didn't. I said, "Don't do it." So I didn't do it. I went to rehearsal, this long ass rehearsal, and it was just like, it was just like the most dark. It was like the darkest day. And I went home.
You're talking about the first time when he went with
No,
Hillary,
the second
right?
time.
Oh, oh God.
Talking about the second time
Oh
last
God.
year. I mean, the second
Oh,
time.
oh no, too
And
depressing for words. Yeah,
and
they both were.
and I remember you know, leaving rehearsal. And I mean, literally, I was in like a 6 hour rehearsal. It's like a really long rehearsal, long day. I got
Hmm.
home. I didn't even put my stuff down. I poured myself a drink, went into my bedroom, and I was going to light a candle. And I just wanted to lay there, have a cocktail, and, chill out. Not put on
Hmm.
the news, not watch anything, just chill the fuck out.
Hmm.
And I went into my closet, and I have, these drawers in my closet, and I went to get a match. And I opened up this matchbox, and there was a half a joint in it, which was
Oh.
a year and a half old. But that was the sweetest half a joint I ever smoked.
Mm.
I needed that night really badly. That just really chilled me out. I mean, I like I enjoy what that does for me more than, drinking. But I
With
enjoy.
what's going on in the world, how do you have a sober day? I mean, if I was smoking, I'd have to be stoned all the time with it. With what just happened this afternoon. I mean, this it's just a crazy. It's just a
Well, I had
crazy.
also last week a really very very dear friend of mine, an ex of mine, and he remained, he and his girlfriend, who have been friends of mine for 30 years, and we were together in the 90s, and he last Saturday, not this past Saturday, the Saturday before, he had a massive heart attack and died.
No, I'm so sorry.
Totally fine, perfect physical. So for your listeners, there's this scan that you can get that I don't know if insurance covers, but it's only like $200.
Yeah,
And they you get a scan of all of your arteries, all of your veins in your arteries, so if there's a blockage. This guy had a perfect physical, blood work, everything was fine a month ago, literally a month ago.
wow.
You
How
know,
old was he?
72.
Too young to go.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So,
I've heard about full body scans that you can use for all kinds. Yeah, yeah,
I mean, to me, it's like the fact that they don't at this point in time that they don't include that with your physical
right.
is a joke. With so many people having stents put in, and the heart thing being so prevalent,
Hmm.
it's like, why are they, don't hold, why are you holding back on us? It's like, I mean, if Tony had had that scan, they probably would have put stents in, and he'd be alive today.
Is that why he had the heart attack? He had blockage?
I mean,
Hmm.
he had a massive heart attack, which
Yeah.
is blockage. He was,
Hmm.
it was blockage. He just collapsed. And yeah. So so
Did you know Mark Volman?
mm-mm. Who's
Mm.
that? Who?
The Turtles.
Oh, the guy. Yes, I
Yeah.
didn't know him personally, but
Hmm.
Mike Biseglia, who I was rehearsing with today,
Hmm.
he used to play with them,
Hmm.
play bass with them a lot. Yeah, I heard he passed.
Yeah, last week. A lot of people we know played with him over time. Ay, 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 ay.
Many people,
Let's go on to
I hate to say that it's so weird that we're at the age. I mean, I've lost like so many of my guy friends, my
Hmm.
best friends. Hugh McCracken, best friend. James Lewis,
James.
best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Baker, who toured with Whitney with me for forever. and he died of cancer like a couple of weeks after James died, and now Tony, and it's just too much. It's like I remember when my mom was, she was living in Lake Worth, Florida, at one
Mhm.
of those, golf community places, and I remember I used to ask her, she was in her 80s, and I would ask her, I say, so, what's happening? What's new? And she goes, well, nobody's having babies. None of my friends are having any babies. They're either going to nursing homes or they're dead or they're dying. But they were in their 80s. I'm in my 60s. We're in our 60s,
I
and
can
this,
say that for another 2 months, month and a half.
yeah, this has been going, but this has been going on. I mean,
Mhm.
Huey died, in 2013.
Yeah.
So, and soon after that, my dear friend Chrissy Amphlett died. It's just like there's too much disease. There's too much cancer. There's too much heart disease, and now this motherfucker cuts off funding for everything.
It's terrifying.
It's terrifying. Cut off fun. I mean, I saw this interview with, I forget who it was, talking about how many people have died of AIDS since they cut off USAID. 55,000 people have died from AIDS since
What?
they cut off funding.
What?
55,000 people.
They don't publicize that. I have not
No,
heard that before.
no.
That's a
I just,
crazy number. That's a crazy number.
yeah, it's a crazy number. And yeah, I mean, it's just too much. It's just like, there's something, the research is like needed now more than ever.
Mhm.
And because there's a freaking non-believer,
He's cut off. I mean, how much funding did he take away from Harvard, I mean, just all
well,
the research money.
he had to give a lot of that back. He had to
That's,
give it
yeah,
back.
some. Yeah.
I mean, a
Mhm.
lot of the shit that he's taken away, he's been forced to give back because
A
it's
li-
illegal.
that is there is starting to be a little bit of the judges are there's been a little bit of justice, not nearly as much as he deserves, but there's
No,
been a little
that's
bit.
coming. That's coming.
I sure hope so.
Yeah, it's coming. But, but the fact that they've fired, that they've gotten rid of the CDC,
There's no health department.
no NIH.
Hmm.
They've just taken cancer research,
Hmm.
child cancer research. They're defunding. How do you who what kind of blood goes through your veins when you decide that in order to give your billionaire friends a good idea would be to take away the funding for childhood cancer research? What a fucking idiot. I mean, we're living in I don't know what we're living in, Vicky. I swear to God, you know.
It's pretty terrifying.
Yeah.
So, all right, so let's entertain people and not be terrified right now. So tell us fun stuff. So how did your career start to take off, Bet? How did you go from playing a road tour of Godspell to playing with Whitney and Bet and Cyndi and Cher and all of these people? How did you start making that inroad?
Um, well, as far as like Whitney, I can trace that back for you.
Okay.
I was going, my boyfriend at the time, Frank Fuchs, may he rest in peace.
Hmm.
Um,
Sorry.
he was writing songwriting up at Love Zager. Did you remember that company? Jerry Love and Michael Zager. They had a publishing company, production
Hmm.
company, and Cissy was signed to them, Cissy Houston and Frank,
Hmm.
and they used to write some songs, and
What
Frank,
what year is this bet approximately?
early 80s.
Okay.
um like very early 80s, because I
Hmm.
think I started with Sissy in like 83. But I was going, and Frank was playing guitar in her band, and he was sort of the musical director, but he wasn't very very good. He wasn't very good. Bless his heart. But but one day they were playing at Seventh Avenue South. She
Hmm.
had a gig at Seventh Avenue South, and she just knew me as like Frank's wild girlfriend, always, I was always at the gigs having a drink, um, party girl. And they were playing Seventh Avenue South, and it was just Frank and Chico. There was no drums. It was just Frank and Chico. And maybe there was a
Interesting.
percussionist, if there was anything. I don't even know if there was. So her piano player hadn't arrived yet. Did I tell you the story?
I know the story. They don't know the story, so
Oh,
tell the
okay.
story.
Okay. Are there a lot of people listening?
We've got people with us.
Okay. So the story in that was that her piano player did not
Hmm.
show up, was not there. And Sissy was like, well, the place is packed. And she's like, well, they didn't come here to hear John play. And so, let's go without him. Now, this is a gig that you could do without anything and just piano, but it's not a just guitar gig, and particularly not just a Frank Fuchs guitar. I mean, I hate to speak badly of the dead, but it's true. He was not a great player. Um, so
How can now, okay, sidebar. How can you as a musician go out with somebody who is not a good musician?
if he
Doesn't it
stunning.
bother? Doesn't it bother? Drinks.
He was stunning.
Oh, he was. Oh, well, there you go.
And he was and like
Good in bed. Okay.
great at bed. And we wrote some songs together. We did
Hmm.
some music together. No, now mind you, I was fairly young at the time.
Right.
I was like 30.
We're not that. I was going to say we weren't that young. We were old enough to know better.
Well, in
Yeah.
1980, I was 25.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
25.
Okay. That's young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would show up. So I was, so I was at the gig, and they were like, they did it, and they're like, they do one song, and it was like, oh, and they're like, let's just call Bet up here. Who's Bet? Oh, get her. No, let's just do it. And then they did it in the next song, and it was worse than the first. You got to get Bet up here. Get Bet up here. And so she said, all right, well, come on, Bet. This show business.
And she was willing to bring you up there knowing nothing about your
Think about it.
playing?
Yeah.
Wow. They must have been bad.
Well, she knew that if Frank and Chico were both saying to bring me up, there's some validity to it.
Right. Gotcha. Hmm.
And they're not just, it's not like just like some girlfriend who, that they just, they knew there was validity to this choice.
Hmm.
And so I went up there and I started playing, and and she was like loving it. And we were grooving, and I was soloing, and we were playing, and like, and eventually he showed up a couple of songs in, and he basically came up and basically like pushed me off the piano bench, and and at the end of the show, she called me up to her dressing room, and she thanked me profusely, and she said, "I hope we get to do this again." I said, "I hope so too." And I think like the next week or something like that, he was playing in church, and he fell off the piano bench and he broke his wrist.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but that's just a
Karma
meant
be a bitch.
that yeah, that's just a meant to be story.
Yeah,
Hmm.
karma's a bitch. So, um, but so that was so then from there on, I started playing with Sissy, and we played in the great supper club, Sweetwater's. Do you remember
Mm,
Sweetwater's? On
I
Amsterdam
do.
Avenue in the
I
60s.
do.
Now that was my parents actually used to come in for some of those gigs. Like they saw,
Mm.
and Whitney and Gary were her background singers. So I became friendly with Whitney. They'd come, she and Robin would come over to my house, and we'd hang out and smoke pot and
What?
whatever, when she was a teenager singing. Um and so eventually, just Clive came down and heard her, and then one night, I'm pretty sure I told this story the
You
last time.
have to tell. This is such a great story, though, because this is the beginning of Whitney, right?
This was the beginning of Whitney. We were playing, so we had a gig at McKell's, which was a very
Mhm.
famous, for those of you who don't know it, a very famous R&B club on the Upper West Side for many years.
Oh my God, Barbara Ann Little is here, and she saw you
Hey,
at
Barbara.
Sweetwater's with Sissy.
There you go.
Wow. Okay. Go ahead. I'm
Lucky you,
sorry.
you got to see Cissy in those days.
Mm.
She was incredible.
Mm. How
She was
long did you play with Cissy?
well, I played with her from probably about 5 years
Oh,
because
wow.
yeah, I played with her for a while because before and she would bring me out to play in church, like at her church. And but
How
then Whitney,
fabulous.
so when Whitney got discovered. Anyway, so what happened was we're playing. So Sissy had a gig at McKell's, and
Hmm.
unbeknownst to me, and anybody else in the band, um, Sissy told Whitney that she had a drip or an allergy, and she had a drip, and she couldn't go on. So she sent in Whitney to do the show, and
And wait, this was by design, wasn't it?
of
Was
course,
this by design? Yeah, this was by
yes, of
design.
course.
Yeah.
Oh, yes,
Hmm.
it was very intentional.
Hmm.
And it was adorable because like Whitney did all of Sissy's patter, just switching her name out for Sissy's, talking about
Oh.
herself in the third person like Sissy used to do. Thanks for coming to see your Sissy tonight. Thanks for coming here, Whitney. It's like hilarious. But she basically blew the roof off that joint that night. She blew the roof off the joint that night.
Was
And
anybody there of note to hear her?
um
Like she didn't get discovered that night, did she get discovered that night or
she got discovered at Sweetwater's. Well, I mean, Sissy would bring her up when she was 14. When she would do a gig, she would bring her up to sing, you know, um, when she was just a kid. But I know there were many people of note at the club that night
Mm.
because many people heard that, were there for that splendid evening. Um, but but the funny thing was that in the movie, I believe it is the Whitney Houston movie, not the biopic, not that one, the one that was about her life,
Hmm.
that was done by this English director, fully approved. Not at the time there were like these another one that came out in LA that was not approved. This was a very good film. This was like the film you could see if you went on, you could see it on planes.
Well, what do you know what it's called?
Whitney Houston, Whitney.
It's okay. I have to figure out which one is the approved one, and that's the one I know I saw one back in the day, but I don't know if I saw the approved one.
Well,
So,
I'm in the one,
oh, you're in the good one.
I'm in the good one.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was interviewed. They called me up to be
Hmm.
interviewed, to go down, they interviewed a bunch of people for this. And I was one of the people they interviewed. And, and I told the story and simultaneously in the film, the way he did it in the film was he cut my interview in with her interview on like the Tonight Show or Letterman or something.
This sounds
And
really familiar.
she
Yeah.
told she told the same story that
Mhm.
I told.
Fantastic.
So it was like there's truth. But yeah, that was pretty synchronicitous.
And so, how long after that did she break?
Well, she did, I sort of music directed a few gigs for her locally, supported by Clive at the time, because Clive was
Hmm.
the one who found her, who
Hmm.
was at Sweetwater's.
Hmm.
And then
Oh, right. Okay. Hmm.
and then in '88, I joined her touring band. And I was in that band for 11 and a half years.
Unbelievable. And you played on I Will Always Love You.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Which
only
is,
record of hers that I played on.
and why is that?
Because, all of her producers, they had their people,
Mm.
you know.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they had their people.
Yeah. And how was she personally? I mean, she was going through all of her stuff then, wasn't she?
Um,
Was that before she was going through all her stuff?
well, she didn't start really going through her stuff until mid '90s.
Hmm.
So I had the good years.
That's great.
I had the really good years.
Hmm.
And is actually, we did an HBO special I think it was in 1995 in South Africa. And we did a test show for all the camera people in Durban. We did a show in Durban, we did a show in Cape Town, and we did a show in, and the Cape Town was going to be was the show that was going to be shot for
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you can see the show, they put out the Durban show. I haven't seen it, but I heard audio of it. Ricky Miner said to me, you gotta send me the link to it. He says, you gotta check this out. We were a killer band. We had a
Wow.
really great band. And it was a great show. But you can actually see that concert. It's the one, if you go on, say, YouTube, she's wearing her it's very gold.
Mm.
And it would I don't remember what it's called actually. So I should know
Well, it's
that.
probably in the liner notes that it was in Durban. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And that was the best of all the shows. That was
Mm.
it was the best. We were quite well rehearsed for that show.
And so did you guys what ended that relationship?
I think that in 99 she wanted a younger, cheaper band.
Mm.
Or
That had to be really hard after all those years.
it wasn't hard for me. It
Really?
wasn't really hard because I went directly from Whitney to Bette.
Okay, so how did I know the story of your friend who introduced how did that happen? Yeah.
Well, Marc Shaiman, who you all might know from, he's an
Mhm.
incredible Broadway composer, film
Mhm.
composer. When Harry Met Sally, Broadway, he just did Some Like It Hot, Catch Me If You
Mhm.
Can.
And how were
Um,
you friends with Mark? How did you guys meet?
don't ask me. That's too long ago. I don't even remember. But we used to do gigs together. Yeah, I don't even remember.
Hmm.
I couldn't tell you how we met. But I struggle and with my memory, I struggle with like when people say, "How did you guys meet?" And I go, I have no recall. Just don't have
That
any.
stuff I remember. It's some people's names. I actually met Mark at Allie Willis's memorial. But anyway, much later in life, not
Yeah,
that long ago.
not that
So
long.
okay, so you and Mark, so what did Mark, how did,
Well,
so
Ben had been
how much after the Whitney thing ends does
right
Mark,
after. Right, I
right
did
after?
my first gig with her in '99, and I did my last gig with um with Whitney in May or March of '99. We did
Mhm.
the Divas show at the Beacon with like Elton and Dolly Parton and Cher and Mary J. Blige.
Oh my God, that's
Um,
crazy.
yeah, it was crazy, all right. Um, but yeah, so right after that, Bette had hired, so I did my first gig with Bette in October of '99.
So now how did, Bet was,
So she called me up. She goes, Mark, Marc Shaiman told me to call you, and I'd love to meet you. So she lived literally directly across town from me. I lived on 94th and Columbus. She
Mhm.
was on 94th and 5th,
Mhm.
literally directly across the park.
Hysterical.
Um, many synchronicities with Bette and I.
Mhm.
Um, and we're great friends to this day.
Were you and Whitney great friends?
We were friends.
Mhm.
We were friends,
Mhm.
but yeah, we were friends more so in the beginning. We were always friends,
Mhm.
but after a while, it became a little bit more difficult for me to have a friendship with Whitney um, when we were touring.
Well, and then she started
And I
going
don't really
through her
want to.
stuff, right?
What's that?
And then she started going through her stuff towards the latter part of your
She started going
tenure.
through her stuff in mid '90s, like
Hmm.
in the mid '90s. She
Hmm.
started getting everything started going south,
Hmm.
and it just progressively got worse and worse.
Hmm.
And so at that time, so when you know when Ricky called us and said, you know, thanks and thanks, but you know, but no thanks.
Hmm.
It was like fine,
Hmm.
because I loved this woman. I loved Whitney as a person. She was such a fun person. She was so
Oh,
she there's so much about her that people don't know. Like
tell me one thing.
um she just knew about all kinds of music.
Hmm.
Like we had a party. Threw a party at her place in Jersey after we played the Garden one time, and she had a bluegrass band there at her party. We're like a do-si-do. We were like do-si-doing at her party. She watched. She wasn't like she wasn't a solely black girl from the hood. That's not who she was.
Hmm.
She was interested in everything. Films. This is what happens when I have allergies and I talk too long.
Well, all right. And we've been talking a long time, but I want to run through just a little bit for people who don't know your background. So, okay, so Bet meets you. It's love at first sight. You spend a lot of years with Bet.
Spent again also 11 and a half years with her.
Wow.
And we
And
finished in we finished in 2011 or 2010 in Vegas. We were such good friends. We used to go out all the time. We used to go out to hear music, but we had a huge fight in Vegas.
I was going to say, so how did that come to an end? And what was that
Had a
about?
huge, it was about nothing. I'm not even going to talk about it because
Okay.
literally it was about nothing.
Hmm.
She was, Bet very insecure, and she thought that I did something that I didn't do,
Hmm.
but she stuck to her guns, and you know, and so we had a really rough time from then out.
Hmm.
But
How much longer were you with her after the fight?
well, we finished in Vegas, and that was it. I was
Oh.
We were
Hmm.
finished in Vegas. She
Hmm.
went out and did a record with Shaman, uh,
Hmm.
a girl group record,
Hmm.
and she went out with Daryl um, Daryl Smith, who was the other keyboard player with us in Vegas. He MD'd the next gig. I think he just
Hmm.
did it with one keyboard. And during the pandemic, she called me
Oh.
and we got together, and she apologized to me.
Oh. How long had it been since
A
Vegas?
long time. It was a long time. It was
Hmm.
Vegas ended like I said, like 2010 or 2011,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
the pandemic was 2020.
2020. Hmm.
20 it was 2020 or
2020.
2020. So
Hmm.
it was
Hmm.
a good spell. It was, 9 years.
Hmm.
And but she never spoke badly about me, and I was really pissed. She was just really mean. She was really mean. I saw what she had done to some other people, and I never thought it would happen to me, and it did.
Hmm.
And I was very hurt. But, you know, I can talk about it now because now we're, great friends again. We have this little supper club. We go out, me and Bet and Zora, this other singer that I work with. I'm putting a show together with her actually right now that we're doing at Pangea on October 9th. That should be a good show. Um, but yeah, so we go eat and eat Asian food around the city.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that's like she never used to do that. Now she's
Mm.
like all up for going out and having fun, and she's come to the bitter end.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's wonderful.
yeah. And we went to see Lady Gaga. She called me. She goes, "You want to see Lady Gaga with me?" I went, "I do, indeed." So we went to the Garden a couple weeks ago.
How fantastic.
Me and Bette and Sophie, her daughter, and a friend of Sophie's. We had a blast.
That's
Except
wonderful.
except I fell leaving. I
That's
literally
not wonderful.
fell out the garden.
Oh shit.
And like we went from like cement floor to a carpeting going onto a tile, and I was wearing my Converse high tops, and the tread must have just hit the carpeting in a funny way, and I went flying on my right side, of course, because
Ah,
everything is on my right side.
everything's
So
on the right side.
my right
Mhm.
knee looks like I look like a 10-year-old,
Oh,
you
God.
know. Yeah, yeah.
Ay, ay, ay. So after Bet, you went out with Cyndi for a while too, didn't
Well, I
you?
went out, first I was with Carly. I started working with Carly in 2011.
Okay, did she still have stage? I saw Carly in like
Terrible,
1971 and
terrible.
she had terrible stage fright. She still had stage fright?
Well, yes, terrible.
Wow.
She had to take a lot of medication
Wow.
to get on stage and perform. Yeah, she was really scared.
And how was your relationship with her?
Good. It was
Hmm.
always good.
Hmm.
Always good. Um, we did a few gigs together. We did an industrial together, and then we were
How did
thinking.
you connect with Carly? How did that happen?
I think that Carly. Oh, I know. Maybe because I was working for a while with Ben and this guy John Forte.
Hmm.
I had written a couple of songs with John for his record, which he did, um, and then he went to prison. But
No.
but Ben, we did these gigs with, and I think I met Carly. I don't, and again, I don't. I mean, I'm thinking it's because of that. It's because
Hmm.
of the connection with Ben, and she was doing these, and we had met. She and I had met before,
Hmm.
and I think we had always said, I'd love to, she said, I'd love to work with you sometime. I said, I'd love to work with you sometime, and she called me to do some gigs with her.
And so at that stage of her career, what kind of what were the gigs?
Well,
What
like I
venues were
said,
you playing?
we went up to the vineyard and we rehearsed. We did this gig in Colorado.
Hmm.
We did this like industrial gig.
Right. Hmm.
Then we went to England for a couple of weeks and we did some BBC stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, it was fun. I
And then
like
what about Cyndi? Cyndi just did her last
it.
concert here. And I did you read about it? It was like a big thing. Cher was
Yeah.
sang with her and yeah, all the
Yeah. Did you go?
s- I did
And
I
Joni
did
Mitchell
not.
also.
And Joni, I did see Joni last year at the bowl. That was amazing. So
So,
what
and I did the She's So Unusual, the 30th anniversary of the She's So Unusual tour
was she,
from
and how was that
2013
relationship? Was she fun?
to 15. She was,
She's a task man. I know a lot of people that have played with her over the years, and
well,
she's tough, isn't she?
yeah, she's
Yeah.
difficult. I personally we didn't have issues,
Hmm.
but, she likes to change her band a lot, except for
Hmm.
her core, Bill Whitman, who's been her musical director forever.
Hmm.
Like she did a country record. And so she thought that she needed a whole new band to play country music, which was
Mm.
hysterical to me. But what she did, it's what she liked to do. So it was fine. I did one tour and
Did
I
it
sang,
end amicably?
yeah, oh, fine.
Hmm.
We're friends.
Hmm.
We
Hmm.
text every now and again. I went and saw her I went and saw her at the garden when she was at the garden.
Hmm.
Yeah, we're fine. We're friends. Everything was amicable. Everything,
Okay, so
I don't have very many contentious relationships. I think my contentious relationships pretty much end with Patti LuPone.
I don't know about this. Now I know she's a diva out the wazoo. What happened there?
She's
How
pretty good.
long did you play with Patty?
Well, we were also best friends for a period of time. David Nickturn was working with her, did a record with her, was looking for material,
How long ago was this?
early 80s,
Hmm.
early 80s.
Hmm.
And he called me to see if I had any songs. So I submitted a couple of songs, and she
Hmm.
ended up recording one of the songs. And David Nichtern, who is her producer, who wrote that big hit for Maria Muldaur's "Midnight at the Oasis."
Wow.
Anyway, so he used to call me to sing a lot of his demos because he liked my voice, and then he brought me in, and I was a background singer with
Hmm.
Patty. We played like the bottom line, and then and then I became a piano player, and somebody else, David Nichtern, was conducting or something like that, and then it just became and then it was my gig. Then I became the musical director. We did some gigs with Will, Steve Ferrone, um,
Both love them both.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and but the irony, so David Nichtern and I, we were friends for years.
You played very, very early on with Ferrone and Will, didn't you?
Yeah,
Was this it? This wasn't the first thing you did with them, was it, or was it?
I don't remember.
Maybe. Okay, go ahead.
I don't remember.
Hmm.
Um, it's very possible that I had done some jingles
Hmm.
or record dates. I think that maybe I was doing a record date for John Tropez. I'm guessing that Will was probably on that.
Hmm.
Um, but that was a little bit later. That was probably in the 90s. And I guess that was 90s. But
So you're out with Patty.
so yeah, I did a bunch of shit with Patty. And just, she just pulled something on me once when we were just going out. We were, like I said, we were very good friends, and she just pulled something on me that was despicable, and she was despicable about it, and so I find her despicable. I find her despicable.
Hmm. She's
Yeah,
done some pretty shitty things that have been public.
yeah.
Um, I have one more person to ask you about, and then I'm going to let you go. But we have now a mutual friend. I did not, the last time we did this, I did not know Keb Mo, but Keb has become a very, very special person to me. We just saw him a couple weeks ago. I love Keb Mo. And I remember you talking about him, and he said to you once, "Would you like to go out on the road or something?" And you said, "My bags are packed." Or so how
Never
did you know
happened.
Keb? It didn't, I
No, it never
know.
happened. It never happened. But Keb was on. With Cyndi, we used to do these home for the holidays shows where she, raised money for homeless kids with yeah, the LGBT community, homeless, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
And uh, and Keb was on one of the shows. He did one of the shows with us, and
And that was in
and we at the beginning.
2000, two, I think you were with Cindy in like 2013 or something. We were with, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. So it might have been somewhere in there,
Hmm.
13, 14, something. And so I met him there, and it was like, and I was such a fan of his,
Oh my God, I
and
love him
such a
so.
fan, and I was so tickled, when he asked me, he said, would you, do you sing or whatever? I said, yes, I do, and so he thought it would be a good match, which I thought it would have been too, but he didn't call me. No, all good.
Did you ever share a stage with him?
Yes, at the Beacon with
Oh,
Cindy.
oh,
He was one of the guest
uh,
artists on the Home for the Holidays show, on
okay.
one of those shows.
Right. So you were the MD, so of course
Well, I wasn't the
you
MD.
weren't the MD.
No, Bill Whitman was always the
Oh,
MD.
okay.
Bill Whitman has always been her MD. No, I was
Hmm.
playing keyboards, but like we were doing this too, and I was probably playing some blues organ or something. I forget what.
Were you playing a Keb Mo tune, or was he doing
No,
a?
playing a Keb Mo tune.
Hmm.
It was we were playing Keb Mo songs.
Uh-huh. He sang Life is Beautiful to me in my living room. It doesn't get any better than that. I just love him. I just love him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. I feel bad that we've kind of fallen out of touch.
Well, I'm gonna tell him tomorrow that we had this conversation and I'm gonna get you guys reconnect. I'm gonna reconnect you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, he was, I mean, his relationship with Bonnie in the beginning. I remember
Mhm.
going to see Bonnie, and he was he was opening up or something, and Yeah, I've always been a fan of his. He's badass, man. He's
He's
really
badass. And he
and
gives
so
he gives the keyboard player some big attention. The keyboard player becomes a big part of his show.
well.
Yeah. So
You can't,
who knows what the future holds?
right? Who knows?
You never know.
Never
Bet,
know.
I adore you, and thank you so much for taking the
Thanks
time.
for asking me to come back again.
Absolutely. And the next time we're in New York, I hope you'll be playing, but we're going to go eat. If
We're gonna
not,
eat.
we're going to eat. We're
We're gonna
definitely going
definitely eat.
to.
Perhaps there might be two dinners, one here at my apartment
I love that.
in the city.
I love that.
How do you feel
Thank
about
you so
Indian,
much.
by the way?
I love Indian food.
All right. Thank you, Vic. Thank you, everyone.